Good morning, beloved First Covenant community. Welcome to the Children's Moment. My name is Heather, and I'm standing in for beloved Pastor Karma this week as she takes a much-deserved rest after all of the wonderful art she's been creating for us for the last however many weeks. So, instead, I am going to be reading you a beautiful book today that asks some really interesting questions. But first, I want to tell you the Bible story for today. This story is short and sweet, and it is about the birth of someone who ends up being very important in the Bible. But when he's first born, he's just a big old surprise because it shows that God is not predictable and that God's also full of surprises. So, this is the birth of Isaac. It comes from Genesis 21, verses 1 through 7. Now the Lord was gracious to Sarah, as he had said, and the Lord did for Sarah what he promised. Sarah became pregnant and bore a son to Abraham in his old age, at the very time God had promised him. Abraham gave the name Isaac to the son. And when his son Isaac was 8 days old, Abraham circumcised him as God had commanded him. Abraham was 100 years old when Isaac was born. Sarah said, God has brought me laughter, and everyone who hears about this will laugh with me. And she added, who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? Yet I have borne him a son in his old age. And that is the end of the scripture. But just think about that. God surprised two people with a baby they never thought they would have. And that's not where the story ends. The baby also has a lot of potential and a lot of future in him. So, today's picture book I'm going to read you is a little bit about that. It's about potential. It's about thinking about what could be possible in our world. Maybe it's full of surprises, even when things are tough. And you are a part of that. We're all a part of that. We all can look at our world and say, what could be different? What could be new? What could be surprising? What could be good? So, here is today's picture book. It is called What If? And it's by Thierry Lenain and Olivier Tallec. So, here is What If? And as we read it, maybe think about what you would say to some of the pages that you see. A child sat on his island, looking out at the world and thinking. The child saw war. We could paint over their uniforms, he thought, and turn their guns into bird perches and shepherd's flutes. The child saw famine. Famine means there's no water and no food. But what if we lasso the clouds and bring rain to the desert? What if we dig rivers of water and milk? The child saw misery. Misery means you're really, really sad and things are really, really hard. Well, we'd better learn to add, subtract, multiply, and divide, he thought. What if we finally learned to share water, bread, air, and earth? The child saw the powerful gorging, ordering, shouting, and decreeing, and he said to himself, we have to open their eyes and drive them out. They're not spreading messages of love, are they? The child looked out at the ocean and thought, what if we wash it clean? Then he sat in front of it, just dreaming. The child saw forests. He thought how great it would be to walk there, exploring and telling stories to be carried on the wind. Later, he'd fall asleep on the moss, listening. The child saw tears. We have to hug, he decided, and not be afraid of kisses. What if we start saying, I love you, even if we've never heard it before? Oh, the child lowered his head. He saw the moon with a flag stuck right in its face. How dumb, he thought, to try and own the moon. What if we set it free and say, we're sorry? The child looked out at the world from his island one last time. Then he decided to be born. And that is the end of What If. So, the question that we can ask ourselves today is, what if things were different? What if I can change things? Even if it's in little ways, like smiling at someone, saying hello, doing a kind thing. Even if we have to be far away from each other, we can still change the world. So, God is full of surprises. You can be full of surprises as well. Well, thank you very much for listening, and have a lovely Sunday.
How do you say to your child in the night, nothing's all black, but then nothing's all white? How do you say it will all be alright when you know that it mightn't be true? What do you do? Careful the things you say, children will listen. Careful the things you do, children will see and learn. Children may not obey, but children will listen. Children will look to you for which way to turn to learn what to be. Careful before you say, listen to me. Children will listen. Careful the wish you make. Wishes are children. Careful the path they take. Wishes come true, not free. Careful the spell you cast, not just on children. Sometimes the spell may last past what you can see and turn against you. Careful the tale you tell, that is the spell. Children will listen. How do you say to a child who's in flight, don't slip away and I won't hold so tight? What can you say that no matter how slight won't be misunderstood. What do you leave to your child when you're dead? Only whatever you put in its head. Things that your father and mother had said, which were left to them too. Careful what you say. Children will listen. Careful you do it too. Children will see and learn. Oh, guide them, but step away. Children will glisten. Tamper with what is true, and children will turn if just to be free. Careful before you say, listen to me. Children will listen. Children will listen. Children